Welcome to Sandy Lee Yoga. Thank you so much for joining me. Today's practice is for my runners out there. Whether you're an avid athlete and you run a lot or you only run occasionally, hopefully this flow will help you to find some good stretching and some strength and just any relief from the problems that might nag you as a runner. So go ahead and start in a comfortable seat, maybe sitting on some pillows or blankets or just on your mat. If it is uncomfortable to sit cross-legged like this, feel free to extend the legs out. Once you have found a comfortable seat, go ahead and let the hands rest wherever feels comfortable and close the eyes. Feel the shoulders relax. Take a nice slow inhale through the nose. Sigh it out. 2 more of those. Inhale through the nose. Sigh it out. 1 more. Just bring your focus into the body. Letting go of anything that needs to be done for the rest of your day. Blinking open the eyes, start to roll over your knees, removing any props that you might have been sitting on. You can just set those to the side. Bring the hands down, fingers nice and spread. Start to lift the hips for our first downward facing dog. Feel free to bend the knees, bend them quite a bit here. Feel the chest press to the thighs. So the fingers and the arms are doing a little more work here. It's less about your legs right now as the body's not very warm yet. And just press the hands into the mat. Feel the arms nice and strong. And then maybe you start to straighten one leg, then the other. Pedal the feet here, walk your dog. Just starting to warm up the backs of the legs, find some space there. And then come back to neutral, or the knees can be slightly bent here. Just come to stillness. Looking forward, walk your feet up to your hands. Come into a forward fold. Bend the knees nice and deep here. Chest rests on the thighs. Arms are just hanging. Head just hangs. Maybe finding a little more space in the spine. Keeping the knees nice and bent, roll up the spine. Coming up to your Tadasana or mountain pose. Once you are upright in your mountain pose, look down at the feet. They should be about hip distance apart. Toes are nice and spread. Feel the fingers reaching towards the floor, engaging the thighs, lifting up in the quads and the kneecaps. And feel the crown of the head reach towards the ceiling. Feet are grounding almost as if there are roots growing out of your feet here into the ground below. Nice and strong. Inhale, arms lift, palms come to press, reach over to the right and over to the left. I love side stretches, they feel so good. Come back to center, cactus arms, reach the chest forward. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold forward. So the hands connect to the mat. Knees can be as bent as you need them to be here. And then bring the hands onto your shins, reaching forward with the head. Nice flat back here. And exhale, fold. Bend the knees, roll up the spine. Inhaling up with the arms. Reach over to the right and over to the left. Back to center, take cactus, maybe starting to find a little back bend in the upper back. Inhale, exhale, fold again. Feel free to bend the knees. Bring the hands onto the shins. Head is reaching forward here. Exhale, fold. Once more, bend the knees, roll up the spine. Inhale, arms lift. Reach over to the right and to the left. Back to center, take cactus, lift the chest. Inhale, up. Exhale, fold. One more time. Inhale, halfway, hands on the shins. Exhale, hands connect, step back with the right foot, lower the right knee. Hands can stay on the mat here, or maybe come up onto the knee. Ideally, your right knee is right over your ankle or behind it. If you find you're going past, then just walk the foot forward a little bit. Try and let the hips relax towards the floor, finding a nice stretch in the quad and the hip flexor. Nice, easy breaths here. Breathing in and out through the nose if that's comfortable, but if not, feel free to breathe out through the mouth. And lower the hands down, tuck the back toes, and switch out the feet. So bringing your right foot forward, maybe help it up with your hand. Lower the left knee. And hands can stay either on the mat or feel free to come up onto the knee. Again, the hips relaxing towards the floor. Find that nice stretch here. Nice, easy breaths. Sinking into the hips. And exhale, lower hands down, tuck the back toes, step the right foot back, downward facing dog. Feel free to bend the knees as much as you need to here. You don't have to have perfectly straight legs. Even with the knees bent, try and work the heels towards the floor while the hips reach up. Look forward towards the hands, walk the feet up. Come to your flat back, hands on the shins. And exhale, fold. This time, press into the feet, arms lift you up, palms to press, and hands to heart center. Inhale, arms lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Hands connect. Again, right foot steps back. Lower the back knee. Find that low lunge. And then bringing the hands onto the floor, or maybe just onto your hips. Start to straighten that left leg. Toes reach for the ceiling. If it is too much to be folded over the leg like I am, just come up. And you can kind of balance on that right knee. Finding a deeper stretch, the more the toes reach back towards your face. Bend into the left knee, come back into that low lunge. And once more, straighten the right leg. Find your version of this pose. Maybe you fold over, maybe not. If you have blocks, you can always bring the hands to blocks. Or if you don't have blocks, a couple canned goods would work as well. Bend into the left leg. Hands come down. Step it back. Downward facing dog. When you're ready, bring the right foot forward. Maybe helping it up with your hand. Lower the left knee. Find your low lunge. And then bend or straighten into your right leg, maybe folding over if that feels good, or hands can come up to the hips. Toes reaching up, maybe starting to reach back towards your face. Bend the right knee, low lunge. Once more, straighten the right leg. Find your stretch here. Bend the right leg, hands connect, step it back, downward facing dog. Might feel good to pedal the feet here, or let the hips move side to side. And looking forward, walk the feet up to your hands. Come to that nice flat back. Exhale, fold. Press into the feet, arms lift you up, and hands down to heart center. Bring the hands onto your hips here. Step the right foot back, nice big step coming into your warrior two. So the back foot is parallel to the back of your mat. Arms are reaching energetically forward and back. Gaze over your left middle finger. Look down at that left knee. It's going to want to come in towards the inside of your foot, but try and send it to the outside edge of your left foot, working on those outer thigh muscles. Keeping the front leg bent, flip your front hand, reverse your warrior. Right hand can rest on the back thigh. Keeping that left arm nice and long. Find a nice line from your hip all the way to the tips of your left fingers. Inhale back to warrior two. Straighten your left leg. Kick the right hip back as you reach forward. Find your triangle pose. Maybe the hand falls to your knee or your shin, maybe the ankle, but it's less about how low you get and more about creating space in both sides of the body. You don't want to just slouch into the right side, or left side. Your right hand helps lift you up. Imagine there's a wall behind you and you're trying to get nice and flat, tucking that left hip in and under. Inhale, rise up, warrior two, bending the left knee. Exhale, reverse one more time. Circle the hands down, frame the foot, step the left foot back into your plank pose. Can always lower to the knees here, or stay lifted with a nice long line from the crown of your head to your heels. Feel the belly button pulling in. As you exhale, elbows are in, lower down. Lift up for cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. On your next inhale, the right foot steps forward. Find your warrior two on the other side. So checking out your right knee this time. You want it to go towards the pinky side of your right foot. Shoulders are relaxed. Arms reaching forward and back. Keeping the right knee bent, flip your front hand, reverse your warrior. Inhale, warrior two. Straighten the leg, kick the left hip back as you reach forward. Find your triangle pose. Again, imagine you're against a wall here and you're tucking that right hip under. Top arm reaching up. If it's uncomfortable to look up, you can just look forward or look down. Legs are nice and strong here. Inhaling up, warrior two. Exhale, reverse. Circle the hands down, frame the foot, step it back to your plank pose, engaging that core. Nice long line. Fingers nice and spread. And as you exhale, lower down. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more. Inhale. Exhale. On your next inhale, the right leg lifts. Bend the knee. Open up the hip. Your right shoulder is going to want to lift, but try and keep it in line with the left. Take some circles, bringing the knee into your chest. Make sure and go both directions. And then extend the right leg. Bring the right foot to the outside of your right hand. And then lower the back knee down. So you're in your lizard pose here. If you have blocks or some other prop you'd like to use, you can grab that. Maybe it's enough for you right here to stay with the arms extended, hugging that right knee in. Maybe you start to lower onto the elbows, either onto your props or maybe all the way to the mat. So sending the right hip back, hugging the right knee in. Take some nice easy breaths here. Notice if there's something you're tensing up in this pose. In yoga, we are always looking for effort and ease, sukha and sthira. So even though we're using effort in this pose, you want to find the ease. Maybe it's in the breath. Maybe it's in relaxing the jaw or the fingers. Go ahead and roll to the outside edge of your right foot. Slight variation of that pose gets a little more into the outer hip. And then come back to center, tuck the back toe, send the right leg back, downward facing dog. Go ahead and pedal the feet here. And then when you're ready, inhale, left leg, bend the knee, open up the hip. Left shoulder in line with the right. Take some circles if you did on the other side, making sure to go both directions. And then extend. Bring the left foot to the outside of your left hand and lower down the right knee. So again, maybe it's enough of a stretch right here to stay with the arms extended, hugging the left knee in. If you have any props and you'd like to lower down, you can grab those. And this side might feel different than the other, and that's okay. Again, looking for our effort and ease in the pose. Relax the jaw. Relax the fingers. Maybe you're scrunching your toes. Let them go. Go ahead and roll to the outside edge of the left foot. And then come back to center, tuck the back foot, send the left leg back, downward facing dog. Go ahead and pedal it out here. And then start to walk the hands back towards your feet, coming into a yogi squat. So your feet are about mat width apart, toes pointing out, lower down. Maybe you come onto a block here if you have one. If the heels are lifting, then put either maybe a rolled up blanket under them or roll up your mat a little bit. You still want to be grounded here in our malasana or yogi squat. So the elbows are pressing the knees open, palms come together. If you're like hating your life right now, I promise, first of all, we'll only be here for a couple breaths. Or you can always lift back up and just rest the elbows on your knees. So if you ask me, that works your legs a lot more. 2 more breaths here. And then bring the hands behind you, lower down onto your seat. So we'll do a little bit of ab work here, just so that, you know, the core is so important, not only with balance and strength, but I imagine as a runner, the core also is important, just giving you more strength and stability. So start to bend the knees, squeeze the legs together, rock back or lean back, and start to lift the legs. Maybe the feet stay level with the knees here. Maybe you release the hands. If you have room, maybe you start to straighten the legs. But if not, just stay here with the legs nice and bent. So the chest and the thighs are coming together. Shoulders nice and relaxed here. Now listen very carefully. Take the corners of your mouth and bring them up. Try and bring a smile to your practice. I know Navasana is not an easy pose. Go ahead and lower the feet and the hands, fingers reach for your toes. Lift the hips, reverse tabletop. Feels really good in your shoulders here. Exhale, lower down, come back into your boat pose. Any variation here. Maybe you're still holding the knees, squeeze the legs together. Maybe you release the hands. Two more breaths here. Lift the arms just a little more. Then lower the feet and hands once more. Reverse tabletop. Lift the hips. And then lower back down. Knees are still bent. Lower down onto your back. A little more work for the back of the body, or what we call the posterior chain. So the hands are alongside your body, feet are hip width apart, almost like you're going to come into a bridge pose, which we sort of are, but we're going to do some other things in it. So tilt the pelvis up, roll up, lifting the hips. So hands, if you'd like, can come alongside the hips here, so you'll notice if they're staying level, or feel free to lower to the mat. And then just lift the right leg, lift the left, like you're marching. Knees are bent. If the hips start to dip, maybe you don't need to lift the leg quite so high. Arms are pressing into the mat. And then the next time your right leg is up, hold it there. And then we're going to do some pulses. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold and lower the right leg. Keep the hips lifted as you take a couple steps here, a couple marches. I know, I'm right here with you. Next time the left leg is up, go ahead and hold and then pulse. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and hold, and then lower down, roll down the spine. Let the knees move side to side. So you're working your glutes there, a little bit in the back. Good job. And then coming back to center, take your right ankle, cross it over the left knee like you're making a figure 4, and start to pull the leg towards you. Maybe you hold behind the knee, maybe you grab the shin. If that is not accessible to you, you can also take a strap around the thigh here. If you don't have a strap, you could use a belt or a robe belt or a tie. Maybe the right hand helps press the knee out to the side. The more you pull the left knee in, the deeper your stretch, feeling it right here on the outside of your hip, glute. Try and relax into the pose. I know this isn't easy. Hip openers can be a little tricky. And then lower down, uncross the legs, let the knees move side to side. And then cross the left ankle over the right knee. Start to pull the leg towards you, holding wherever is accessible. Maybe the left hand presses out to the side. Noticing this side might be different, and that's okay. We hold our tension differently on different sides of our body. Couple more breaths here. Nice, easy breaths. If you notice throughout any practice that you're holding your breath or the breath is really short, then that means you probably need to back out of the pose. As a teacher once told me, he said, take the effort out of the pose. And lower down, uncross the legs, and rock side to side. Isn't it nice to know there's some place in our life we don't have to be perfect at? Bring the knees into your chest, rock back and forth. We're going to make our way onto your stomach, so however you'd like to get there, you can kind of just swing the legs around and lower down onto the stomach. You can be up on the elbows if you'd like, or eventually lower down. So legs are straight out behind you. Start to bend the right leg, reach back, grabbing your foot here. And you at first might not feel very much, so we're stretching the quad here. But the more you press your hip points into the mat, the more you'll feel this stretch. So really press, press, press the hips in as much as feels right for you to get a nice stretch in the quad. Couple more breaths here. Imagine you can send this breath into your quad muscle, helping it to relax. And then gently release. And then when you're ready, bend the left leg, reach back, grab the left foot or ankle. And again, the more you press the hips in, the more you'll feel that stretch. So depending on how tight your thigh muscles are, you might not even have to press the hips in. You might be like, oh, I already feel it, but maybe pressing those hips in a little bit more. Nice, easy breaths here. And then gently release. You can let the hips and the feet, kind of windshield wiper the feet here. And then staying on your stomach, start to bend the right knee, bringing it towards your elbow. So like you're making kind of a figure four with your legs. Now if this is really uncomfortable, maybe don't bend the knee quite or bring it up quite so far. So we're opening into the inner thigh, inner hip here. So just like we did with our previous pose, which is like a half bow, again, press the hips into the mat. In fact, go ahead and engage the thigh muscles. Really press that right knee into the floor and then relax. Head can be relaxed on the mat. One more time. Press, press, press that right knee in and then relax. Try not to tense up the glutes. No scrunching of toes. And then gently straighten your right leg and then start to bend into the left leg just until you find that nice opening in the hip. Again, if it's painful in any way, then just don't bend so far. Just like we did on the other side, activate the leg, press that left knee into the floor, and then let it go. One more time, press, press, press that right knee in, and let it go. Sometimes the activating of the muscle and then letting it go helps you to release just a little bit more. Relax just a little bit more. And then gently start to straighten your left leg, lifting up. Come into a cobra pose just for a moment. Get a little stretch for our abs here. And then go ahead and come around. We're going to come into a seated position with the legs extended. If you'd like, you can sit on some blankets or a pillow here just to lift the hips up a little bit. And go ahead, bend the knees really deep here and grab your toes with your Yogi Peace fingers. And then slowly walk the feet out just until you find that stretch on the backs of the legs. So maybe the knees are still nice and bent. Or maybe you start to straighten. It's less about finding straight legs or reaching your toes. It's more about finding that stretch. Keep the back nice and long here, nice and flat. And when and if you're ready, maybe start to round the back, folding over. But if you're like, no way, I like the flat back, stay there. Find your stretch. This is your practice. And again, the knees can be bent as much as you need to. Notice if your feet are kind of circling in towards each other. Try and flatten them as if you were standing on the floor. That might mean you bend the knees a little bit more. And then slowly lift back up. Bring the feet nice and wide as you can comfortably. Toes are reaching up towards the ceiling. And walk the hands forward. If you're like me, I don't get very far here. Just looking for a little stretch in the inner thighs, mostly on the backs of your legs. And walk the hands to your right leg. Lift the left arm, nice side stretch. Almost as if your fingers could reach your toes. Maybe they even do. In my mind, I'm almost there, but in reality. Circle towards the center, lifting the right arm. Once more, over to the right leg, lift the left arm. Once more, over to the left. And then come back to center, lifting up, bring the legs together, soles of the feet together. Let the knees fall open. Maybe flap your wings a little bit. Hands can be on the ankles or maybe on the feet, opening the feet like a book. Now maybe this is enough right here, or maybe you start to use the elbows to help press the knees open a little bit more. Again, honoring your body and where you're at today, and it might be different tomorrow. So what's kind of amazing about our bodies and about yoga is it's different every day. Lifting up, go ahead and straighten the legs. Maybe shake them out, windshield wiper the feet a little bit here. And then pulling the right foot in towards your left knee, cross it over the left knee. Bring your right hand behind you, extend the left arm up, and then twist, hooking your arm or elbow onto the right knee. Or maybe you wrap the arm around, whatever is accessible for you. Pull in that belly button to find a little more room for your twist. Looking over the right shoulder if that's comfortable. Keeping the legs where they are. Inhale, twist around to the other side. Right arm presses into the right leg. And then come back to center. Switch out the legs, bringing the left foot in. Cross over the right knee. Left hand behind you. Extend the right arm up and twist, hooking the elbow or the arm. Think nice and tall here in your twist. With each exhale, maybe twisting a little bit further if that is accessible to you. Keeping the legs where they are, twist around to the other side. And then come back to center, straighten both legs. Take one more forward fold, bending the knees as much as you need to. Inhale up. Exhale, fold, letting the hands fall where they may. It's not about reaching the toes. There's a famous yogi that says it's about what you learn on the way down. Inhale back up. And then go ahead and bend the knees, lowering down onto your back. Take just a couple more twists here. Lift the hips, move them over to the right. Let the knees fall over to the left. If you'd like a deeper twist, the right leg can wrap around the left. Looking over the right shoulder, trying to press it down into the mat. If it lifts, don't worry about it. Then slowly come back to center. Unwind the legs, move the hips over to the left. Knees over to the right. Maybe the left leg wraps around the right. And gaze over the left shoulder. Come back to center, unwind the legs, bring the hips to center. And hug the knees into your chest. Take a few rocks side to side. Maybe make some circles with the knees. Going both directions. And then reach the arms and legs in opposite directions. Nice and strong. Reach, 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 reach. And then exhale. Let it all go for your Shavasana or final rest. If there's any discomfort in your low back here, you can place some pillows or blankets under the knees, or just bend the knees, feet come mat width apart, and let the knees fall into each other. Arms can be out to your sides, or maybe cactus feels good. Whatever can be nice and calming here for you. Close the eyes. Feel the body become heavy. Take a big inhale through the nose. Sigh it out. One more of those. Inhale through the nose. Sigh it out. Feel the body begin to relax. Finding calm of the mind and calm of the body. Take a scan of the body all the way from the crown of your head down to the tips of your toes. Noticing any spots of tension, try and relax those spots. Let them go. Maybe it's in the hips or the shoulders, the glutes or the toes, fingers. Let them relax. You can feel free to stay here as long as you'd like, but if you're ready to go on with your day, wiggle the fingers and toes. Move the head side to side. Pull the knees into your chest. Take a few rocks back and forth. Coming up to a seated position like we did at the beginning. Let the eyes be closed. Bring the hands to heart center. I hope this practice has brought you a little more peace, a little more strength, and a little more stretchiness. Hopefully it all felt good. Please join me again. Thank you so much. Namaste.